Hey everybody, welcome back. We're here today to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 3, and also about Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, Part 2, Episode 3. And I have, as always, Raul,
Howdy, howdy.
Ramon.
Hey guys.
And just before we start, guys, I'm going to issue an apology because in the last episode, I said that Toji, I did not trust his plan at all. I'm like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I am completely off the Toji boat. But boy, was I wrong, man. Like, clearly, this guy had a plan, and I apologize. And I am here to serve him. And from now on, he'll be my master. But what did you guys think about that
plan?
Man with a plan? What did you guys think about the episode?
I mean, yeah, of course. It was crazy. It was crazy. I kind of wish that they would have stuck around that beach for a little bit longer, but everybody had plans, and some people's plans went well, other people's plans did not. And then even when you thought you were done with all the shock and the craziness, you got kind of baffled one more time with another fairly crazy thing that happened. So crazy show, man. I really enjoyed it.
Dude, it was weird. Like it was like it talked about kind of like what happened because it kind of jumped around a little bit and you weren't really sure what was happening, and then you weren't sure if they were just talking about what was going to happen or they were showing what actually happened or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're in a beach. It was like, what the heck just happened? Like, did anything really happen?
Dude, it took me on my second watch to really understand what was happening. I
Yeah.
was so confused, man, because we get this scene where it's like, if you come with us, be ready, because the worst thing could happen. And if you cry, like there's no like nothing we can do about it. And then it's like immediately goes to the beach. So yeah, I'm there right with you guys or with you, Ro.
Yeah. That was one of those things where, like, even like when Carlos had mentioned it too, and I had to think back to it because I'm like, wait, when did they like get her? Like, when did they rescue her? And then and even on my rewatch too, it was just kind of really funny to see that they played like very little attention to it, which is kind of
Yeah.
I like that because with such a big episode ahead, it's kind of silly to even focus on that, and then especially because it was just a star religious group that had her. It wasn't anyone special. It wasn't a
Yeah.
sorcerer. So what would have they done? Just gone in there and kicked some ass and like not even try, and then just So kind of a little better. They didn't show any of that.
No, and I think that was where my confusion came in. That I was under the impression that Toji had her. So like I didn't realize that it was like no, this other group took her, and for some reason they decided to take her to Okinawa. And like you guys, I told you like I'm a note taking guy now, so I take notes. So like my note, the first time I was watching, I'm like Okinawa, what the fuck? Like that was literally my note. You know, so that's why I was a little bit like so confused, but everything makes sense. Like the second rewatch, I understood 100% what was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understood it. It was just kind of weird. And then I in a way, I am kind of glad that they skipped that part because then they put like so much emphasis on the beach part because like they were just having fun, and then you kind of get this I guess idea or this notion that Gojo's not taking it too seriously, but then you still kind of get the notion that, oh wait, but he's still kind of being careful because you get that moment with Gojo with um the other guy.
Geto?
where
Yeah.
Geto, yeah, where he tells Gojo that he brings up the fact that like you haven't dropped it like his sorcery spell thing at all, like the whole time that he has this thing where like he like nothing can get close to him or whatever.
Yeah, I
So
didn't.
yeah.
Yeah, because we got our answer to that question that I had. So I guess he has to activate it, and the way he's activated is because his eyes get a little bit more like bright blue. So that's how you know this thing is always on. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Ramon?
No, I'm just saying, like, that whole beach scene was great. I mean, like, if you really think about it, it's like, oh, it's your last day on Earth as, Rico.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you want to do? And obviously, one, because they were gonna go freaking save freaking Konoe, but at the same time, they wanted to show her a good time. And I think the fun part was is that, obviously you could see the difference between Geto and Gojo. Gojo was definitely the one having more fun, the one who had been a hard ass this whole time about like, having to save her and have her escort her. It was clearly just a front, because at the end of the day, he's the one that's definitely trying to like, show her a good time. And it's funny too, because like even at the moment when they're like, okay, we should go back, he kind of looks at her and he still looks, a little kind of saddened by the whole situation. And he's like, you know what, we'll stay one more day or like overnight or whatever. So, I don't know. You saw a little bit softer side of Gojo, where like before I've been criticizing him so much so far this season and saying like, oh, he's all about himself, he's still like super cocky. But here you go. Like, I mean, it wasn't the only like moment, because later on we did have another moment where we saw that Gojo actually does truly care about her. But I think it was really fun. And then it's funny because my wife walks down when they're like playing with the freaking seesaw, and she's like, "What did I just walk down into?"
Dude, it's always like that when you're watching an anime. It could be like the most serious anime, and then the one time that they like do something like pervy or a joke like that, it's like your mom or your wife or your son's gonna like walk in the room.
Like awkward, but no, it was really fun. It was a cute idea for them to do all that for her. And then even just after that too, that beautiful scene when they're in the aquarium, I like that because she's definitely reflecting on her whole life, like she's looking at these like animals that live in schools, that live in groups, and here she is like, alone. Besides the one person that she's with, everybody else, like she's just been alone.
I mean, I've been talking a lot about the music this season, but that scene that you're referencing, Ramon, where they're in the aquarium and the piano is playing and she's having this scene. I was enchanted, man. I was enchanted by the melody. I was enchanted by the music. I'm like, I could rewatch this scene like on replay over and over and over again, just because the music itself and the scenery I was getting and the emotion I felt from Rico, it really, really hit a high point for me. So I really did up like, there was so many scenes that I loved about this episode, but that one has to be like my third favorite one because there's just so much that happens in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they referenced it back at the end too, because at the very end of the episode too, right before she makes her decision, she's kind of also back again in an aquarium, like in the middle, but this time she's in the aquarium, and it's kind of showing her little journey through losing her parents and all that stuff. So it was just a beautiful tie back overall. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you guys a question because the episode does start with Rico having this imagery of her being underwater. So, like, I wanted to ask you, do you guys know what the meaning behind that is? It like you feel like the pressure of the whole like ocean on top of you? Like, what is the meaning of her being underwater?
I kind of wonder, because the first time that we saw that image of her, I wonder if it kind of has to do with like kind of the pressure of everything that she's kind of holding in, and then also the fact that like when you're underwater, everything's kind of like muffled. So like she's kind of living in life, kind of muffled, like not being fully there because she knows in the back of her mind that all of that's going to be temporary and that she's really just kind of on her own. So there's really like nothing else around her besides this like wide open ocean with like nothing.
Of course, Raul, the man with the study with priests, would give such a detailed answer. And yes, of course, Raul.
Yeah.
100%. That's exactly what it is.
No, and then yeah, I mean, no, for sure that the whole thing about pressure. I also like the idea of like still with the fish and the pods of whales, like everything. Like just again, she's in a vast area that these animals tend to group together and have like a life, and they kind of follow the flow. And I think it also has to do with that because obviously in that last scene when she's contemplating her decision, she goes back to that same spot. So I love that the show did that 3 times because it does really make you think of what it means every single time. And there's all these like underlying like similar things, but I'm pretty sure, at one point she was like, yeah, I do want to go back and swim with like the fishes, like, or the school of fishes or with the pot of whales. And it's a beautiful imagery just because, like I said, everything that you guys said sounds even better, but even my background's blue right now because I want to be in that aquarium. So I want to be with the fish.
No. I've definitely seen Finding Nemo plenty of times to understand also that reference, Ramon. So I also 100% agree with that.
We're all right. All right. Yes. Gold stars for everybody.
And the one thing that made me really like kind of like smile also in this episode is that we got a young Nanami, which is the detective finance guy in the first season. He looks exactly how I would have pictured him, like looking at that age. Like I don't know, like too cool for school, I would say. But it made me laugh to kind of get him at that age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. I wonder if they still play a bigger part in the next 2 episodes we have left of this, because to just
Mm.
introduce like sorcerers, and just because they, Geto and Gojo could have done this on their own, and it's just you keep that nice little 2 team part, and that's it. But then you're introducing like 2 first-year students, so it makes you think, and they're also in the intro too. So I was wondering that too. I'm like, oh, okay, how's this gonna play in? Like, what are they gonna do? What's it gonna be about? But that was pretty cool.
I didn't know who the second guy was. I don't know if he's somebody new or if just don't recognize him from what he looked like when he's older.
Dude, I don't even know who that guy was. Who was that guy?
Oh
I
my
didn't recognize him.
god.
The first one?
Hanami?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nanami. Nanami is the guy that he left after becoming a sorcerer. He left it to make money. He wanted to be like money, and then he became a
Oh, like the
detective.
the 37th guy?
Yeah, that's him. That
That
was
was
him.
one of them?
Yes, that was him. The blonde one, the one with the like hair covering almost like half of his
Yeah.
face. Yeah, that was him.
Oh.
That's cool.
I don't know why I miss these things. I'm sorry.
It's funny because like when they show him, they do like flat out like give you a whole screenshot of like their name and stuff. So
I know, but it's a lot of
yeah.
writing all at once, and I can't read it that fast.
You're like, I don't want to read. I rewind a lot, man. There's no shame in that. Like, I just want to know.
I do want to read, I just can't read.
I'm gonna
Again,
edit that.
while you can rewind.
I'm gonna edit that to say Raul saying I can't read.
Oh my god! No, like in the Bleach episode, I had to rewind it a couple times to read like what the setting was, like the former barracks of this or whatever.
Dude, at this point, Bleach might as well be talking another language because I don't even like attempt to look up some of this stuff.
I don't know. Well, I can tell you that's a good difference. I'm like, yeah, bro. Well, it's like really difficult when you have a bunch of stuff thrown at you. But I mean, I'm no shame in that. I do rewind Atlantis, and even though I know Bleach less, it's kind of funny. It's like I don't rewind as much. I guess I really don't wanna care. I mean, like, I do care, but I don't want to just like there's so much in the middle that I miss. But anyway,
It,
so
it's one of those things where like unless you started binging it from the beginning to catch it exactly when the new
yeah.
seasons are coming out, it's hard to remember what every little thing like was supposed to be, and that's the trouble that I'm
Yeah,
having with it.
I
Yeah.
kind of want to watch it again just for that.
Oh,
Do it.
I'm almost done with One Piece. As soon as I hit the One Piece, I'm at the 900 mark. So they made it to Kaido,
Wow.
so I'm almost there.
I'm still in the 700s. Doflamingo's still alive.
One of the things I was going to talk about, like Jujutsu Kaisen, is like finally when they do go to take Riko to the school, and obviously as soon as he turns off the his powers, his sorcery that's happening, like he gets stabbed right through the chest. But before that, I do want to say that it's kind of crazy, man, that he pretty much hadn't slept for this amount of days. He's been up the whole night taking care of them because you get like a little bit of flashbacks or little like screen times of like Gojo just sitting in that hotel,
Yeah.
like watching her as she's sleeping behind like the beach. So it's just like, dude, it probably was like draining just because if Gojo at the end of the day is a human being, like anybody that doesn't sleep for like 3 days is gonna go like a little bit like nuts.
No, it's good.
Yeah, dude, and it was like a big surprise too, because they were already inside of the barrier. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that they were like in front of the doors, like right before they went in. That they were inside of the barrier, so like they had no reason to think that like anyone could get in. Um, and then all of a sudden you see that blade go inside of them, and then like all that chaos or whatever, and you realize who it is, and then that one flashback
Dude,
that happened that was big because
that was so
he
big.
said that when Gojo was a kid, that he was the first person to notice him, like ever, and it
Dude,
was
that was
like,
Yeah, that was crazy because he stabs him and Gojo looks at him and it's like, have we? And I honestly took that as a
Yeah.
joke when he's like, have we met? And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't
yeah,
worry about it. I'm also terrible with names. And then you do get that flashback. And it's crazy because like when he said, I've got, like this kid was born, I went to visit him. I took it as he went as part of his clan to go meet
Yeah.
this kid. I didn't take it as he was just curious and he managed to like go in there to kind of peek at him. And it is funny that it's like Gojo was the first one to ever kind of like get a glimpse of, or like be able to like sense him. I thought that was freaking cool. That gave me goosebumps a little bit of that.
And it makes you understand why, like, freaking Toji is so not intimidated by him, but he's so cautious of Gojo. Is because
Yeah.
The
again,
sorcerer killer.
since he was like little, like he already felt like the power of him, but just him noticing it or noticing Toji, that he kind of basically knew his whole life that he was just gonna be him. And obviously, as Gojo probably freaking gets his reputation and he does more and more to earn that, it's crazy that he is going to be ultimately the one that go in there and kind of like try to kill him, which absolutely crazy that he freaking snuck in. I do like the idea that he doesn't have any freaking cursed energy.
I
So,
know.
but my question is, because like the curse that he does carry does have cursed energy, where does he hide that worm? Like, where does he put it?
So I saw a picture of the manga panel where he's revealed, and it almost, I could be wrong, but it almost looked like it came out of his like belly button, like his stomach. So I don't know if that's because then it kind of tells me that maybe this thing's a parasite, so they have like a parasite host relationship. Like, yeah. So I'm like, ooh,
like
I'm
a
wondering.
symbiote.
Exactly. So like I'm wondering if that's maybe it is where it's at. It's like in his body and it comes out of, it could be wrong about the belly button or I could be wrong completely, but it makes me feel like that's where it came from within.
Yeah, I mean that whole idea of that, like here you have Toji, who like obviously once he starts fighting and you see a little bit of like what he can do, just to know that he's doing that. I mean, I guess amplified cursed energy, but in general, he's still doing it basically by himself, and then a little bit of that cursed energy. But I love the whole idea of him having like a whole cursed being or a whole curse on him, that he's literally doing all kinds of stuff, like how he switches out from the weapon that he originally stabbed him, the weapon that he had later, like that big old sword that he busted out once Geto did his little caterpillar attack, to the weapon that he ultimately ended up like freaking stabbing him again. Like, dude, like, I don't know. Yeah, it was just really great to see him finally and to see like his speed, his strength. Dude was nuts, man. Like, I want to see way more of him.
I mean, what do we think about this? They both him and Maki come from a clan that if you're born without curse energy, they consider you to be weak. They consider you to be a waste of time. They don't want to acknowledge you. But then here we have this guy doing something that I thought was impossible. Like, what do we feel about that? Like, or I figured you would have a lot to say about this because if it doesn't remind you, this is clearly like Astra from Black Clover. It reminds me it reminds me just like that. Like he has no magical powers and he can bypass people because nobody can sense it because he doesn't have any like magic power himself. So what do you think about this? Like, is it like should we be on his team is what I'm trying to get at? Should we be on Maki and Toji's team?
Dude, the thing that I liked about it is especially when they mentioned when he mentioned that he has like no curse energy, it kind of shows you the potential that she has as well, because like she got kicked out of the clan or whatever because she had no cursed energy. Or she left the clan because she had no cursed energy. The way that they were treating her, but you see how well she uses the cursed tools, and then now you see him. And then the way that he's able to use the cursed tools, and then also you notice the fact that these people that are born without the cursed energy, they're born with like amazing physical abilities, which is why Maki's sister doesn't like her because she was born with these physical abilities.
And they can bypass these like, hey, you can come in here because so and so has a curse. Like they can just bypass it like a normal person. Like, dude, honestly, like change the name of give this guy like the show. I want to follow him. He's my he's my Naruto like underdog that's like clearly risen above all of them.
Well, dude, and then it also kind of puts it into context also because like with his son, like his son does have curse energy, and kind of like Geto, he pretty much has the same ability as Geto, except without having to eat the curse thing, which is kind of what makes me wonder if that's what what's his name was saying, that he was wasting his skill, because he's able to like summon from the shadows like these curses, but he could probably do a lot more with it, kind of like Geto is able to do.
Well, I guess I would also be upset if you treated me like crap all my life because I didn't have any curse energy. Then I have my son is born, and my son is born with some crazy abilities, and all of a sudden you want him when you treat him in my whole life like crap, I would be like, screw you. I'm leaving. I'm taking my family, and like I'm not letting you near my son at all. Which I still feel like that's the reason he's doing it. But I could be wrong again. We don't know who he really is, other than being a gambler and taking these crazy like jobs that's killing sorcerers, as you put it, Ramon.
Yeah, and that's that's why he's so intriguing, because I mean, at this point, holy crap, he kind of did what. I guess we've seen everything after the fact, right? We've seen kind of like present day, and now we're going to the back. I mean, to the past. But like, I mean, like just for someone to be able to freaking do that much to Gojo is crazy, because in the future now, obviously I'm pretty sure he learned from this, because he's alive, obviously, duh. But it's like, I'm sure he learned from this, and Gojo just never lowers his defenses for this reason, because he probably got so fucked from Toji that he's just never gonna like recover mentally about it. If you think about it, like, holy crap, like
guys, I just had a crazy, like, I realized something. I understand why Gojo wears a blindfold all the time. It's so that you don't know when his eyes are on or off. So that's why he's always wearing the blindfold. Because then if you can't see if his eyes, you can't tell if his ability is activated. So I don't know. That just hit me. Maybe you guys are smarter than me, but I'm like, holy crap! Like, this is why he's constantly like hiding his eyes, so people they can't see when he's like, this is a moment where I can strike. Like, they're always questioning whether he has it off or on.
And that might be part of it, but I think it's more of kind of like the Kakashi thing, where Kakashi like has his eye covered all the time, because like the Sharingan uses chakra. So I think with like his eye abilities, they use curse energy, and then if like, because you notice that he was always wearing the sunglasses, and that's to kind of like dull the thing a little bit. But yeah, it could also be because of that, because he wears the sunglasses, so people can't tell whether he's doing it or not. So I don't know. It could be both that he's doing that, but yeah, like I always thought that it was because he was kind of like saving his curse energy by not using his eye abilities.
Yeah, I say it's both.
Yeah,
I'd say it's both that, and then him being a badass and challenging himself to his senses. Like, obviously we've seen from all these like anime and movies and everything, where like someone ends up blind, or you end up with like one hand less, or one like one appendage, or one freaking body part less. You use that to kind of build your senses more and do more. And so, maybe it's multiple things. Maybe it's a little bit of that, like advantageous, because people don't know when he has his technique active. Also at the same time, maybe now by just always being blindfolded, he's always in like a heightened state of like knowing everything. Like, I don't know, man. I like the idea of him just kind of playing blind, or in a sense, just like Kakashi,
And you know what? It could also be a way of him like training himself to sense like other people too, besides just curse energy, because he probably learned from that experience. And he can't just rely on his sense of curse energy and on his sense of seeing, because like if someone sneaks around and they have no curse energy, then he probably learned from that, and it was like, well, they're able to attack me, but if I'm able to listen or smell or whatever, then look at us.
That one.
Bro, you're so smart. This is why you're my personal guru. Like, I freaking love you, man.
I do want to mention another thing too that we haven't touched on. So he got stabbed, and then Gojo was explaining that like he's trained with his body, so that that's kind of like a needle going through like a wool sweater, or I forget what reference he used, but it was something like that. Yeah. So can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so like because he wasn't able to use this infinity technique to like block it, basically once the sword went through, he was able to basically block everything around the sword. So basically everything around the sword was almost like a little shield, but the sword still went through. So there was that initial impact where he actually cut through, but after that he sealed it. So just imagining like hardening all around the sword all of a sudden, so nothing is getting out, nothing's getting in. That's what he meant by the reference by the needle through like a woven sweater. Because like if you really try to go through a woven sweater, you're not gonna make a hole. It already has like all the holes. Like it's literally just like everything meshed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's basically it. He basically does like his infinite technique around the wound. So like the sword technically
that
like,
makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. But not on the second one, that freaking spear of the heavens or whatever it was called. Like that ability was to freaking, it forces the technique to release. so it had no he had no power whatsoever. That's
because it's the anti-curse weapon. I forgot what they call them.
It's the inverted. Spear of heaven. So that's the name of it. That's a good name.
That fight was nuts. Like, I don't know what you guys thought about the fight, but just seeing freaking Toji be like as quick as he was, like, holy crap.
It reminded me of One Piece a little bit.
It did not remind me of One Piece at all.
For me, it did.
No, I'm just throwing hate at One Piece, even though I watched that and I will continue to watch it. I was gonna ask you guys, Gojo's, he said that Toji, he had a heavenly pact. What does that mean? What is a heavenly pact? Have we gotten an explanation of any kind of pacts that you can make similar to maybe Chainsaw Man? Did he make a pact with that demon, or what is he talking about, a heavenly pact?
Yeah. How the way that I took it was the fact that he has like the pact with that cursed spirit, and then that cursed spirit is kind of like his like bag of holding, or his anvil pocket. I forgot what they call it in Spider-Verse, but yeah, like that curse kind of carries everything for him, and kind of like the symbiotic relationship. That's what I figured. It's either that or the fact that he has those like physical abilities that he was kind of granted by the heavens.
I just want to know so that I can make a pact with one of you. But I haven't.
You ain't pulling nothing out of my mouth. You ain't pulling nothing out of my mouth. Out of any holes. It's letting you know.
Come on, Ramon.
No, I ain't storing shit for you in my body.
I'm sure there's something I can give you in return.
We'll talk then. Gotta make it worthwhile, man. No, I took it as the same thing too. I just took it as like a contract, just like you, since you mentioned Chainsaw Man, just like a contract of sorts with the curse. So it's not just like freaking Geto where he actually controls the curses. I think it's just more like, somehow whatever curse this was, or whoever this curse means to him, like they have some sort of like pact, or they just hang out together.
Some sort of contract.
Some sort of contract.
No, and you were saying, like, Ramon, what did I think of, like, Toji moving like a god at the speed of God? Freaking awesome. Reminded me of Minato, Naruto's dad. And I'm only saying that because Raul's wearing a Naruto shirt, so it's like I'm gonna keep saying Naruto references because Naruto's like right in my face. But that's what it reminded me of. And what did I think about, like, Gojo's attack? His freaking maximum output blue. It was freaking awesome, man. Freaking like that another like pain reference or whatever you want to like reference that attack with. It was awesome. I love it. Like the idea of like creating this like vacuum and like building it up and just destroying everything around him was freaking awesome looking.
But even the first time he did it, remember, because like freaking Toji's coming at him, and then he like does it, like he just does like one wave, shoots it at him, and he goes flying through all the buildings, and I'm just like so crazy. And that's when he started doing his freaking hurricane blue technique thing.
Yeah. So the day that we're talking about his power and kind of like what he does, like the apple or whatever, like I think. Like in reality, his power is more of like he controls space, and kind of like gravity associated with it, or like where people are in space compared to other things in space. So I think it's all related to space.
Don't forget, he possesses the 6 eyes and limitless technique.
And then he does have his like that power. Like I'm guessing that's part of the limitless, or maybe it's just some other cursed energy. But like his whole blue and red, like, and you guys were just talking about like, you said like pain and his like push. Maybe it's like a magnetic thing, because like magnet's the only thing that I can think of that's red and blue, right? Like in the old school days where it was like negative and positive, like force, right? Maybe he does have a way of, like you said, kind of pulling things in and then ultimately just releasing them. But that's either way, it's cool, and it does remind me of pain a whole lot, like the whole freaking.
The almighty push.
Almighty push.
No, man, it was dude. Oh my god, I don't
planet one.
Yeah, the planet one. Yeah, dude, I don't think I've ever seen such a brutal stabbing in anime ever in my life. Because this thing, it was like there's a meme or like of I forget what it is, but it's like he's already dead. Stop hurting him, and it's like, dude, like he just like I don't know, man. It was just like so. How many times did he stab him, and the way he stabbed the knife, and like it was just
like I dragged it down. He dragged it
my
down.
god, dude. So is Gojo dead? I guess that's the big question mark. How he's dead?
No, I mean, how did we see Jujutsu Kaisen season 1, right?
Oh, but
Clearly
then
cloning.
again, what's the name came back too after he died, but he did have Sukuna.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I don't know, man. I think that's but that's cool. Like later, so then in the very last scene, right, where freaking Geto's taking Rico down to see Tengen, and even just skipping a little bit ahead to where like he is having that conversation with Toji, and he's like, "Wait, you're here," and he's like, "What do you mean I'm here?" Or like, "How that whole thing?" And then he just smirks really badly. But even just Geto knowing or thinking that freaking Gojo's dead, I can't imagine what kind of crazy shit it's gonna do to him because twice in this episode, like Gojo gave him like basically compliments by saying like, "Oh, I'm not worried. You're here too." Like, right? He's like, he basically showed him how much he trusts Geto, and that if it wasn't for him, he just wouldn't be as comfortable, like using his powers for 3 days straight, like doing what he's doing. Like even that whole like conversation between Geto and Gojo about Riko's like future if she decided not to kind of merge with Tengen. It's just like that whole bonding experience. So man, Geto's gonna freaking lose it. Like now that he thinks that freaking Gojo's dead,
I am very interested in seeing what that curse with the bandages, the woman that he summoned can do. Like that one gave me like I'm like, ooh, that one looks like like that one must be one of his most powerful ones. So like what can this lady that's covered in bandages like curse can do? Because like you don't often see curses that resemble like physical
People?
human beings. Yeah, people. So like this is interesting to me, like the idea of like this woman fighting along him like side by
Yeah.
side.
Well, I mean, why did he bring out those curses? What happened? Did you guys expect that at all?
Oh my god, dude! Oh my god, I wish I was recording myself when that happened. I should have told you, Ramon, to record yourself, obviously, because I saw it before you. But I don't think
Yeah.
I cannot remember the last time like the rug has been pulled from me because this moment made me feel like so happy when Geto's like, "Hey, if you don't want to do this, come with me," and
Yeah.
we'll like we already agreed on it, and dude, I don't know, man. Like, I love it and I hate it, but I love that it was able to do this. This is where I think like anime can surpass anything because was like again something that I don't know. I couldn't tell you the last time I felt like this about anything, like me watching anything.
I do.
But yeah. Can you tell me other examples? I need more examples of it.
The Last of Us, that whole episode with Sam and his brother. I mean,
um,
remember like when he turned and he freaking had to shoot him at the end. But anyways, but it's that whole idea, right? Like freaking Jujutsu Kaisen made you fall in love with freaking Rico. Like you I think it's because you were really trying to relate and trying to understand what she's going through because she willingly wanted to merge with Tengen, right? She willingly knew that like her whole life was to sacrifice towards the better good of like merging with him. And so even us, after we discussed it even last episode, it's like, man, like that's crazy that she like maybe her parents got murdered and that's why she's doing it, like who knows. But I think at the end, after you kind of put yourself in that mental space after this beautiful episode where she spends numerous of times in the water with fishes, she's having all this contemplation and all this reflection, and then you finally get this moment where freaking Geto tells her, it's like, you don't have to go if you don't want to, and she's like, yeah, I do want to spend more time with my friends and her, and then it's freaking gone. Like,
I wanna live. Another One Piece
and
reference.
dude, and it's
No,
like,
dude. Yeah, I didn't take it like she wanted to. I took it more like she was at peace with it, and she had
yeah,
like settled for it because she had like nothing else. Like I took it as like she saw that as her purpose and like her only reason to exist. But then through that flashback, she kind of noticed that like she has someone else there besides like no one. She does have one person there, and she does want to live. She wants to experience things. She wants to have fun.
dude, I just didn't know that you could bring a gun to a curse battle. So, like, the idea that he, besides Maki's sister, obviously, but I don't think she's using real bullets. But, like, I was not expecting a gunshot, like, out of nowhere to kill her. And, man, dude, it was just very, like, graphic and shocking. And just like Getzo,
Yeah.
like, I was just so upset and mad. Like, his face, his reaction, like, because in the beginning, he's, like, slow motion, he's smiling. So you almost think, like, did he know? Like clearly he didn't know. And then like after like
yeah.
a split second, he just like starts frowning down and it's like, what just happened? And again, I think this is gonna go down as one of the greatest episodes that I think I've ever seen in anime. I wish this whole 5-episode prequel or 4-episode prequel we're getting was actually like a mini movie, because that moment would have crushed me in the movie theater if I had seen this.
Yeah. I mean, this is the reason why I don't read some of this manga, because, like, again, like, you know, reading it and then watching it would have been a little bit different now. But it's like, for me, since I'm experiencing in like visual, like animation, which, you know, I love the format already. Like, I'm just a sucker for TV and stuff. No, it's just it's great, and I think you're right. Like, definitely, if it was a movie, it would have been that moment where you just kind of lose it, like.
And honestly, I think this is the reason right here why he goes and tries to get rid of non-sorcerers, because if you really think about it, like, that one guy is not really a sorcerer because he has no curse energy, and he uses his gun to kill this other non-sorcerer that's supposed to be merging with Tengen, and then like probably it's gonna be like the pain that he feels from losing the girl, and then the pain that he feels from this non-sorcerer killing Gojo, his best friend, his like partner in crime, his BFF. That's what kind of like stirs him and motivates him to want to get rid of non-sorcerers.
I wanted to ask you guys before we move on to Bleach, do you guys have any theories about what's going to happen in the next episode? Is Rico coming back to life? Is Gojo coming back to life? Is there somebody that can turn time? Is there a Superman that can fly backwards around the planet and, you know, turn back time? What's going to happen here? Like anything goes. Like, throw me your theory for the next episode.
No, my only thing, and again, we were talking about like Gojo like coming back to life somehow, because obviously he's not dead. But it's like, you know, one, I was thinking maybe Shoko, like their other like teammate, but then also like for Rico, most importantly, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't want her to, well, I sound like a monster. I guess I don't want her to be alive, but it's only because for the story that makes like the most impact that you can just imagine, right? But if they were to bring her back, they are down with Tengen, right? And given that Tengen supposedly is more isolated in that central like place that, I forget what they call the Hall of like Tombs or something like that. But like I don't know, maybe he still has power. He does have power over that. I don't know if he has any powers to bring people back to life, but you know, his presence is still around. So I don't know. I again, I'm kind of okay with her being dead, because I'm sure it's going to be like a big catalyst for like the next 2 episodes to be just freaking crazy. But then also, yeah, I can't even imagine. And even like freaking her maid Kuroi, whatever her name was. Like even just her finding out about that too. Like, what, losing her one way acceptable because they've been waiting for that forever, but her being murdered like that, like that's crazy, you know? So
yeah. No, just like Ramon, I'm also down with keeping 13-year-old girls dead. So yes, Ramon.
Oh man.
I mean, no, it's true what you're saying. For the impact to like really hit, you almost do have to like continue to have it. If not, if he comes back to life, it's like another one of those things like with Pain, when he killed everybody and everybody came back to life. It's like, okay, well now you kind of like, you know, defeat the purpose or the emotion that I felt in the last episode.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
Like we still talk about Rengoku because Rengoku stayed dead. Imagine if he was still alive, then we wouldn't even be talking about him. Like, I wouldn't be referencing him as much as I do now.
We don't get that luxury when we die. What the fuck, anime? Like, stop it! Like, they're giving us false hopes.
Yeah, and that's also kind of the problem that a lot of people have with the MCU is that like nobody really dies permanently except for one, just Scarlett Johansson. She's the only one that's permanently died.
Robert Downey Jr.
Kind of
Scarlett Johansson.
What about Iron Man? You're missing the big one.
Oh, that's true, but that's late.
Yeah,
that's
but that was at the end of his thing.
That's at the end.
Wait, they both died at the same time, and Star-Lord's wife is technically dead, or his girlfriend Gamora, the original Gamora.
Yeah, but I guess
she's still there though. Like the other Gamora is still there, so it's like.
And Groot still died, the original Groot.
But Scarlett Johansson.
But then there's still another Groot. So it's
Scarlett.
I'm just trolling you guys at this point.
But Scarlett Johansson, man, that's why it hurts more. Like
that. Oh my god, that's hilarious. No,
it's kind of like Vision. Like Vision died, but then like there's still a Vision.
Stop it! It's already dead. So no, it's
let's just end this.
I think we can keep going funny enough if we really think about it. like Loki's died twice already and came back, and then he has a new one too. The new one in his Loki show. It's also like a continuation of a previous version. Sorry, okay, we're done. No more Marvel. They're not really dead references. What about Kang? Kang still dead, but
I don't think multiverse versions count. We're talking about the ones that we were watching the whole time.
I mean, like characters not being in the MCU anymore.
Okay. Like if you guys want to hear more Marvel stuff, we do have a Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3 review coming up soon, so wait for that to drop.
One day.
I'll late about it, but when Disney releases it, let's watch it.
so it's dropping here in the US on August 2nd for the Disney Plus, so that's why we waited this long. Not because one of us didn't see it right away. Not because
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm gonna cry my heart out in my personal space.
Oh my god!
Watch that movie. All the tissues around me. Let's go.
All right, man. Well, that was it for the Jujutsu Kaisen episode 3 review. So now we're gonna transition to Bleach mode. So, Raul, you're here to tell us everything that happened in Bleach episode 3. So go ahead and tell us what you thought of episode 3.
So, from what you guys saw in the last episode, they had already attacked the Serite, and then this was a continuation. So they fought. They discovered that the Bankais could come back, and then they came back, and then some of the alphabet Quincy's died. That's what
happened. Beautifully told. I'm done. That's how the episode felt to me. I'm like,
no. I honestly, so I'll tell you this. Like, it was cool. So something that they get a know on probably. So the squad with Kenpachi, like his underlings are probably the strongest underlings of any squad, because like his lieutenant can do Bankai, the third C can do Bankai, and then I don't know if the fourth C can do Bankai, but like that's how strong his squad is. So you do see the three of them fighting, the lieutenant, the third, and the fourth C fight. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I said the guy that has the 69 on his cheek, Ramon, he's also very, very powerful. And he's like a favorite. Like, he's been one of my favorite, not because of the 69, just because he's cool. His Sanpato is like really cool too. So it's just like, I'm always rooting for that guy.
Yeah, dude, and pretty much all of them, you really like, and you can tell how strong they are. So like, probably any of them could go be the third and the fourth seed could probably be lieutenants in any other squad, and then they could probably get to squad captains eventually. But oh no, you know why it's a third and fourth seed, because the lieutenant's that one girl, right?
It is. You're right. And with her, Ramon, you haven't really seen my discussion about my theory with her, but yeah, you're right. Dude, Kenpachi just has one of the best groups. That's what I think what Ro was trying to say. And he's true, man. Like, all those guys, they're funny, they kind of rock, they're kind of cool. You're also rooting for him. So like, yes, absolutely. If you put a battle of them fighting somebody, like, I do want to see it like animated well, and I do want to see them, because I'm always like am rooting for that squad.
Yeah. Well, dude, because there was the C3, 4, and 5 fighting against one of the letter guys, and I don't know, it was just cool to see. And you have seen one of their Bankais already.
And I think you'll love that Bankai too when you see it, Ramon. I think you're just gonna be, from the way it looks really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that we were gonna see it in the episode, but we didn't really get to see it.
We got to see two other Bankais that you had been talking about, so it was pretty nice to see those in action.
What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, first of all, like I like the idea. Well, because again, I'm still like over here sitting like just eating popcorn, and still brand new to me. But just the fact that like they did figure out a way to bring back the Bankai, even if it's like temporary, or the way that they explained it, I thought that was really cool. Because again, it's things that I'm sure you guys are learning like fresh with me too, because they're probably explaining that is the whole idea that Quincy's, like, basically shadows and the freaking hollows are basically almost like poison to the Quincy's. And so basically taking that concept and kind of putting it in a pill form they're gonna use like hollow power to bring back the Bankai, and that was pretty cool because then I'm like, oh, cool, something brand new. I'm sure these guys don't know. I'm like, but I was really excited to kind of see those guys, both the captains that were kind of already in danger. They're basically at the brink of death, just be able to kind of make a comeback. I'm not. I guess I wasn't as crazy as the ice captain, like his thing, because at that moment it was just like the wings.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. It was kind of it was really cool looking though, because it was kind of like wings with a tail. But I finally got to see the girls, freaking soy funds, like the freaking big old missile that you were telling me that was just basically a big old bullet. But yeah, I mean, it was really fun to see that because you guys have been talking about it. I'm like, one of these days I will go back and I will figure out what these bankais look like. And there you go, they came back. So and we got some hope.
Yeah, dude, when Foy-san like did her bankai and she shot that dude, I'm like, okay, I'm not impressed. It's gonna be like a little bomb, and dude, it was like the biggest bomb. Like I'm like, oh, like that was actually like really cool for me for somebody that hates like her bankai as much as she does. I was like, that was actually really cool. Like that totally rocked.
Yeah, that's great.
No, no, I like everything you said, Ramon, like about the hollows and Quincy's, and like I agree with you about Toshiro, like his ice bankai. Like I feel like the show's never for a guy that has ice power. Essentially, that's what they are. I feel like they never really know what to do with them. It's kind of frustrating because, like, dude, like you don't have to do much. He has ice powers. Like anything you do with somebody that has these kind of abilities is gonna be cool. But for some reason, they always find the worst ways of like making it look cool. It's like you're making ice look purposely not cool. Like, why are you doing this? Ice Dragon, first of all, because his bankai is like, I don't know if you kind of caught that, but it's also like a dragon itself. When, he does, yeah. So that was my frustration too, Ramon. I'm feeling it. Trust me.
Well, no, I mean, and I think you got a point. Like when you have people like, and even in other things like Sub-Zero, like right, someone who uses ice to be able to do like weapons and kill people and stab, and like and it was just wings and a tail. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's funny. I was seeing Raul like absorb Wikipedia as he was like, we were talking. It was like, if you saw his eyes, he was just like absorbing all the information.
I'm sorry. No, I was trying to look up the name of the lieutenant. But dude, like that's the one thing that I didn't like. Is like I kind of wish that you would have been able to see her Sapakto, because it's just really cool. Just like seeing her fight, because you kind of see the reaction of other people, especially as like strikes keep progressing.
We're talking about Soifan with the butterfly. Is that what you're talking about?
No. The ice guys.
Oh, okay,
lieutenant.
Yeah, like I guess something I could tell you, Ramon, when he's fighting, you see like these circles around him, and pretty much as he's fighting, they're melting. And once they melt, you're led to believe that his power is like done with. But I think it actually I think it means something else. Like I don't know if this is gonna be like the season where they tell you like what does happen when like they completely run out, but there is more to him. I'm telling you, like I said, I've said it plenty of times, and I should probably do my research. But his Bankai is supposed to be one of the strongest like ever.
Yeah.
You're just not seeing it. Sad. I hate it because you're not really seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, and then for me, another character that was introduced in this one was Shinji, the guy with the bob, the blonde dude with the bob.
Oh yeah,
style.
Super cool.
To see his abilities for the first time ever too. Again, for me, it was really cool. But yeah, I mean, all these people that it's funny, like again, obviously the tables are turning in this episode. And to me, I just keep getting more excited because I'm finally seeing more and more. Like I guess it's not. We've been waiting for the build up to kind of stop and finally get more of the fight and the action. And now that they're kind of reclaiming their bankai, it's pretty cool. But even just the explanation that they gave about like now possibly why Quincy's hate hollows more, I thought that was cool as well, because we've always talked about why Quincy's feel like hollows should be eliminated like forever, like off the face of the planet. And to me, I still never really understood what was the difference between like the Soul Reapers and the Quincy's. And then but at least in this explanation, it made a lot of sense to me. Like if the hollows can potentially actually kill Quincy's, like obliterate them, why wouldn't you want that against to be gone? So
no, which is it's kind of crazy because I know like we're led to believe like in the last season the Quincy's kind of went to Hueco Mundo and kind of like took over, like everybody kicked everybody's ass, all the hollows. But honestly, Ramon, they were probably able to do that because at that point the 10 most powerful ones that they had all just been defeated by in the prior season. So that's probably the reason why they were able to do it so easily, because technically only the first the Rancor that you did not see, the one that had the shark jaw, the one that was like, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, the one that's like blonde, they had the three ladies as her underlings. Her, and then there was Grimjaw, which you haven't really seen Grimjaw, and Grimjaw is like one of my favorite like Bleach characters in the whole freaking show.
Yeah.
And dude, him alone, like had he been there, he would have done like massive work, because he's one of those people that never gives up, wants to be stronger, and I'm sure at this point Grimjaw is just like even at another level.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Dude, and you also kind of wonder like what he's been doing this whole time, because he's alive, and you saw him like at the end of one of the episodes, and you kind of hear him when they're calling in.
yeah.
So it just, I don't know. There must be some sort of like mad scientist type of things going on.
Dude, and like, I don't have a type to it, but Grimjaw, like, I'm just gonna say it, he's a beautiful looking like man. Like, I'm telling you, like,
He's
this
a good
guy,
looking hollow.
he's a good looking hollow.
I gotta look him up right now,
Whether
because
he's in his dog form or his human form or his third form, he's freaking cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
No,
yeah. I really liked him. I thought he was cool.
yeah, like I think I'm gonna be honest, guys. When I was a dweeb and I used to watch Bleach, like I always wanted, like it was a dream of mine to like cosplay as Grimjaw. Like if I ever had motivation to work out, it was to be Grimjaw as like dress up as him. Like clearly, I don't think I could do it, even if I worked my ass off. But I always wanted to dress up as Grimjaw, and maybe I'll do it secretly in my own privacy of my room.
if we
But
see you with blue, like he has blue
yeah,
hair, right? That's him.
yeah,
Yeah. If I
yeah,
see him
yeah.
with blue hair, now I know why. I'm like,
It's like, is that a blue wig in your room over there? Like, no, ignore the blue wig.
Dude,
he looks pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually kind of surprised that the one captain, the Komaru, that he was wearing like a helmet again and like full armor, and that like
Yeah.
his head wasn't
Why?
like all open again.
Why is that? Explain that to me, because I know in one of the last episodes that we saw him, he's talking to the elder, like,
Yeah.
just,
Animal
I don't
dude,
want to call them dogs, but I know they're
semi-human,
like, yeah, like,
semi-human
yeah.
guy.
So it's like, why? Like, I know he was denied like the help, or he denied him the help. But yeah, he's coming back into full, and I got led to believe that him taking off the helmet was a big thing that happened, obviously. So it's like, why is he wearing the helmet again?
I mean, I could say because I know, but it does have to do with the last season where he went to his elder and like teaching me this technique that is like part of my clan. So pretty much you're
Oh,
getting that he did get to find out or learn that technique. So when you do see it, it's meant to be a big reveal that I personally can't wait for, because that's like I've never been like, I don't like him too much because even though his bankai is cool, it never really again. I think it doesn't really do a lot, but I do think in the next time you see him, like there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna want to be like, "Oh, this guy's actually like super cool looking and really awesome." So it's a reveal. It's like that's all I'll say.
nice,
Oh,
nice.
I figured that it was because of like the training that he had been doing or whatever, that like he was covering it again because I don't know, it's still part of his training or something. But I don't know. I just thought it was weird, especially because of like the last time that we saw him, he was talking to the elder, and he was saying how like he doesn't wear the helmet anymore, because originally when you see him in Bleach, you see this just giant dude with this kind of like weird helmet, kind of like this woven helmet thing, and then like during the battle he's fighting, and then that's when like the helmet comes off, and then you see like this animal head, and then that's when you start kind of being confused.
Yeah, because I
but
guess
but
like for us it's nothing new, but yeah, like in the beginning you never really knew what the deal with that captain was, and like obviously there's not a lot of people walking around in in Soul Society that look like that, so it is a
Yeah,
big like,
yeah.
wait, why is there a giant dog captain like walking around?
Mhm. Yeah.
Something I wanted, like, I guess I think me and Raul maybe didn't get a chance to talk about Shinji Hirako's Bankai, but Raul, was there any expectation that you had with it? And I just came off like being hyped up for this Bankai for like a whole week because everybody on Reddit, on Twitter was like hyping it up like this Bankai was going to break the internet. I don't think it did that. I think they hyped it up way too much for people. I understand that the Bankai, what it does, it's cool, but it just the way we got it, how quickly it was done with, like, I'm like, well, how could something so quick like that just break the internet? Like, to me, they could have given it a little bit more.
I don't know. Like I like his Bankai, but I don't know. Like I think when he was fighting, like in the OG thing,
Yeah.
I thought they did a better job, like with the pacing of it and kind of giving you like the full impact of it before you realize that like it doesn't
Yeah.
fucking matter because it's Aizen.
Well, I was gonna say, well, yeah, because he freaking was fighting Aizen. But I was gonna say, like, when he fought that girl and he was using his Sanpato, like the way we've seen it, I actually thought that was way more cool because I always
Yeah,
do enjoy the fact that when he spins it, Ramon, it releases this like something you could smell, and then if you absorb it, it's like, yeah, everything becomes left becomes right, up becomes down, and like he said, he's
Oh,
even
that's
managed to
cool.
like make it like where words are actually you're hearing them backwards. So I'm like, that to me is really cool. His Bankai, I guess people were saying that it's like a bankai that's forbidden from him using it. Like he's not allowed to use his bankai, which I understand why, because he could technically walk in a room and make everybody fight each other. But still, man, I don't think it's something that I'll be thinking about too much. While I'm sleeping.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that like he can't use it like around like allies either because I don't think he can like pinpoint who's affected by it and who's
He
not.
said
I think
that.
just everyone around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did mention that. And that kind of, I don't know. To me, it made sense right away because, like, you see it in action. But then, yeah, there's the scene where he does say, like, "Oh, I would use it in a bigger range, but I just don't know. Like, there's too many of my allies around."
Hmm.
So that kind of led me to believe right away the same thing too. Like, he doesn't have like ultimate control in a sense where he can't like really say, "Oh, just the bad guys." Well, who are the bad guys? But
Yeah.
Well,
that's
it's just funny because I feel like sometimes this is the podcast where we reference other animes all the time, and it's something that I wanted to pull up a reference for. It's like it kind of reminded me of Code Geass when Lelouch finally gets his his ability, his Geass,
Hmm.
and he tells everybody like kill yourself, and they all kind of like proudly do it. They just all smile and like yes sir, and like they all like shoot themselves in the head. So it's almost like that, except here they're fighting like one another, and it's just like clearly they're not happy about it, but it is powerful and I do want to give it the respect. I just think it didn't go that extra mile where it's going to be something that I'm going to be thinking about. Oh, I personally wouldn't want to have that Bankai. I'd rather have his Sampato ability. Like that's cool to me because that's kind of like something you can fool around and play with people. Like just like mess with them.
yeah, it's
Talk
crazy
about
powerful.
Vertigo.
Yeah.
It's like you're sitting down to take a poop. You're not. You're standing up.
That's it.
And the
But
poop's landing on your head.
but it's crazy that
uh,
you mentioned that, even just like mentioning Code Geass, and thinking of like Lelouch and stuff like that with like those types of abilities. Like I think that's I mean for me, it's again, I've been enjoying Bleach. I've been in like again, I'm not here to say anything negative about it, but I think that's one of those things that right now it is difficult to watch it when you're just like still like a lot of information, and then every episode right now is just so much, but it's all like broken up in all bits and pieces. And like you said, this Bankai could have been more enjoyable if it was like half the episode was just dedicated to him fighting, and just having the Bankai and seeing things instead of just being like, because I mean, I probably the first time that I watched it, I was like, wait, what even happened? And I had rewind a little bit, and then I got to enjoy it a little bit better because it's again goes by so quick. All of a sudden, everything's done, or you're either confused or I don't know. It's just, but I mean, I still seeing a lot of everything that I've been wanting to see, so it's been good.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that these episodes need to be longer, for you to get the full effect of everything. That way, they can give like enough time to like the fights, the individual fights that they need to, instead of like doing like a minute of one fight, jumping to another one, and then a minute of that, and then jumping to back or whatever, and kind of, and then instead of like just like saying like, oh, this person just fought this person and this person lost, like maybe you can see some of that fight
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it'd be cool to see like some of the like lieutenants and other people fight
I,
and lose or
I'll
win.
be I'll be interested in like see how well the next episode is gonna be because we're hitting the fourth mark episode and kind of like Jujutsu Kaisen like brought it completely like whoa on the third episode. I'm like Bleach definitely. I think they all understand that like, hey, if this is gonna run for 13 episodes, we need to give them like a great fourth episode, because if you build it up and we don't get a great episode to, like, let's say episode 7, then it's definitely not going to be like something that I'm going to be like, oh well, maybe Bleach season part 2 was a little disappointing. But I got a feeling in the next one we're going to have a lot more to talk about, and that's just me personally as a fan of Bleach and somebody that wants to be like, this is why you should love Bleach, and this is why I tell everybody, like, go back to the beginning instead of watching One Piece, watch Bleach, and then maybe go to One Piece.
Well, like I told you guys last time that we talked about this Bleach, like the second episode, that I feel like we haven't gotten any episodes. And again, I think on the first season of the Thousand Year Blood War, I think it was episode 6. That was the one, right? That was the fire one.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
think
like,
it was episode 5, dude. I swear it
was
was
it
like
5?
episode 5. I think it was like
But
episode 5.
yeah, but like either way, I think right now we haven't had anything like that. And just again, for me, after I watched that first season, I was like, oh, I can definitely get into this. Right now, I'm still just like enjoying it because you guys are here to guide me. I'm like seeing things that I want to see, but I think the pacing is a little weird right now. So like you said, it's kind of, I'm like, I've been waiting. I'm like, man, I've been so pumped to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen, and we get to the Bleach, and I'm like, all right, you guys talk. I'm gonna like listen. But no, it's still good. Yeah.
No, yeah, and then especially when you compare it to that like last fight, like between the Aizen army and with the remaining Aran card, and then all the captains there, where you got to see like a lot more of the captains actually use their bankais and all that stuff, and like those battles were like epic, and they felt like full, and you didn't feel like you missed out on anything. Where here, like each fight, like it feels too short. You want more,
Yeah.
and then they skip some of the fights that you want to see, as well. So I don't know. I think the pacing issue. I don't know if it's just too expensive or if it's a choice that they're actively making.
Yeah, because I'm like thinking back to like part 1, and it did start like, Quincy's are attacking and people are getting murdered. And even though it's like doing a lot of like table setting, like it did it very well. And you're right, Ramon, like the fire episode was episode
Right away.
6. So I don't want to say like they have to episode 6 to like start making this show good, because like clearly they need to start doing it like now and really start building up that conversation of people talking about it, because I think there is some people that don't want to watch Bleach because they do feel like they have to go back and start it from the beginning. So for me to say somebody like, no, you don't need to watch the beginning, you need to just kind of watch a video like yourself, Ramon, like, which obviously
Yeah.
I would never tell somebody like do that if they could just
Nah,
start from the
yeah.
beginning. But it's still like something that I want to say, like, if you watch it, it will pay off once you do reach the new season, because everything at this point is just at another level. But no, I'm glad. I'm still glad we're doing this, and clearly Jujutsu Kaisen's kind of winning the battle right now. But I'm really happy we're doing this together.
I'm still along for that. Watching Ichigo finally get to the end of that. Pathway,
Oh my God.
man.
Oh, dude,
at least,
that was
at least,
weird.
at least this time you got a little bit more.
Happening.
At least
Dude, I
this time you got a little bit more. Yeah.
I'm glad you remember, Ramon, because I did say on the last episode that we need to do like an Ichigo, like where's he at?
Well, and that's why I brought it up, because like again, we're watching characters that you guys have more relation to, or you guys are more attached to. Not saying that that's a negative thing. Again, it's just so difficult when you have it. And I think first season did it a whole lot better, where I was just intrigued. Everything still felt like I could relate to it. Now I'm still a little bit more lost, just because, again, not necessarily lost. It's just like I said, the pacing is weird. The fights are back and forth. But my one constant is still like, where's Ichigo, right? Because I still ultimately was really kind of invested in his growth, especially since he got taken to that like upper plane up with the freaking Soul King or whatever. And so I'm still sitting here, but I think the reason why this one stuck out more is just because they finally show a little bit more, right? The soul pressure is getting heavier. Like he's having a harder time walking, and now he starts having like weird visions. And then ultimately at the end of that little scene, he has like 5 eyes, or like he has like the freaking
dude, I'm glad you caught that. And somebody pointed out that those flashback scenes that he was seeing was actually the making of the Soul King. So like I only saw that because clearly somebody on Twitter was putting screenshots of them. But as I was watching the episode, I couldn't tell you what those things were. But now that got pointed out to me too, Ramon, the fact that he had the multiple eyes, and then the fact that you do see the Soul King, some aspects of his storyline. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I didn't catch the multiple eyes.
yeah.
I
mean, it was a flash. It was like a second. Yeah. It was just like his main eye, and then the 4 freaking retinas around. It was just like done.
No, yeah, I think I honestly, Ramon, like I do feel like to really get like the appreciation for what we're seeing about Bleach, it's almost like it is. I hate to say it, but it is for people that were watching it from the beginning,
Yep.
because I was trying to think for myself, like, why do I love Bleach so much? And I think it's the fact that ever since like I started watching this, like the captains are like, they're a little bit older, they're like elder people, they're more experienced, they have more powers, and I think that's what this Bleach Thousand Year Blood War is doing. Like it's bringing all these captains like head on. Like this is the chance where you get to see them shine because you've been watching these people. Even though some of them have already have great matches, I'm like, this is the point where we get to see these guys like really, really like fight for their lives. So like I do feel like as a Bleach fan, like I do love this stuff, but I also as a Bleach fan that I want to bring you into this world. Like I wanted to do more for you so that I can feel that enjoyment through you. But I think if I wasn't doing this podcast, I probably would be enjoying these episodes a lot. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well, I'm still here for it. I ain't going nowhere. Yeah.
Question: Are all the people that went up to the castle, or whatever, the King Castle place?
Yeah.
Are all of them still up there? Because we haven't seen Renji, and he supposedly already got his Sabakto back, and then with the little pill thing, he should have gotten his Bankai back too.
Yeah, no, we haven't seen them. I mean, I don't think he ever got his Bankai stolen, but we haven't seen them.
Oh no,
No.
yeah, he didn't because Bakuya didn't want him to use
To
it.
use it, yeah. But no, you're. Hopefully, we get to see some kind of like about where they're at in this world, like currently. But no, I'm here for it, man. So like, I really love the fact that we're doing these two shows at the same time, and I can't wait to like talk about it next week. I look forward, actually, like I should say, to talk to you guys about the next
Oh,
episodes.
absolutely.
So,
Oh, by the way, the 4 episodes of Naruto for the 20th anniversary, I think, are coming out in September.
yeah,
Yes.
for my birthday, you guys are welcome.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right,
excited
guys.
for that.
I'll talk to you, and we'll soon do a Naruto talk with One Piece and Bleach and Jujutsu Kaisen, all of them. All right,
And
man. I'll talk to you
Zamunagers.
guys. Definitely. Bye.
Okay.
Peace.